Good morning or good afternoon or whatever time it is, wherever you are and wherever you're joining us from. I want to welcome you this morning to worship at Palomar Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in all of its various locations. We begin this morning lighting a candle in acknowledgement that this is the land of the Luiseño Nation and the Kumeyaay Nation, past and present. We honor with gratitude the land itself and the first peoples who have protected it for generations. My home, where I'm coming to you from, in my backyard, is also the land of the Luiseño and Kumeyaay Nations. And I invite you, wherever you are, to acknowledge that land. And if by chance you don't know whose land it is, I invite you to explore that and think about that. Again, welcome to worship this morning. There are a number of ways for us to connect with one another, not only on Sunday mornings, but throughout the week. And so I invite you to visit our website, vistauu.org, or our public page to find out ways that you can connect even as we stay away from one another. I want to just thank everyone who's participated in this service this morning, in its preparation and in us bringing us all together. I invite the bell again 3 times. Once for those who have gone before, once for those who are with us now, and once for those who will come after us. This is a sanctuary for those seeking and finding their own answers to questions of faith. This is a sanctuary for voices lifted up for peace. This is a sanctuary for those seeking companionship in their struggles and their journeys. We come from the earth. We are one with all that is. On this honoring of Earth Day, we recognize our interconnectedness and our interdependence. We feel our hearts beat and know that it is the heartbeat of Mother Earth. May the eyes of our hearts open for clarity and insight, to inspire our thoughts to imagine new possibilities for what can be, for humanity, for all beings, and for the earth. We open to the passion of our hearts to fuel our creativity and our actions on behalf of life. We call upon the wisdom of our hearts to deepen our love and to let it flow into this world with compassion. We call upon the strength of our hearts to ground us and to guide our ways into a changed, into a healed world. It is good to be together.
At this very moment, the earth is above you, below you, all around you, and even inside you. The earth is everywhere. You may be used to thinking of the earth as only the ground beneath your feet, but the water, the sea, the sky, and everything around us comes from the earth. Everything outside us and everything inside us comes from the earth. We often forget that the planet we are living on has given us all the elements that make up our bodies. The water in our flesh, our bones, and all the microscopic cells inside our bodies all come from the earth and are part of the earth. The earth is not just the environment we live in. We are the earth, and we are always carrying her within us. Thich Nhat Hanh.
Good morning. Oh, it's the Sunday before Earth Day. And I want to tell you a little story. My childhood was spent barefoot, climbing trees, making messes and mud pies, building sandcastles, swimming and digging in the soil in the various yards that we had over my childhood. Although my mother found so much value in clean iron clothes, black patent shoes, and white tights, we were never faulted or shamed when we came home dirty and caked with the day's adventures. My childhood, bumpy at times, is filled with memories of the connection that I had with the earth and the creatures that lived in our yards or patios. All the years later, I still am happiest when I am barefoot, knees caked with mineral-rich dirt and soil under my nails. Opening windows in my house feels like a jolt of caffeine and a sure shift for a yucky day. I raised my two boys with the premise, the dirtier, the better. And most days ended with a long soak in the tub and a dark ring around the tub as the water recessed. I feel connected deeply to this home of ours. My heart breaks daily thinking of the pain we have inflicted as humans on our mother. My body aches with the harm we have imposed on our planet and in turn ourselves. Here we are, April 2020, days before the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and 4.5 billion humans have been asked to hunker down, stay put, and stay safe. I don't know what you have seen or heard, but our environment is rejoicing and celebrating. Once again, birds I have not seen in years come through my yard are coming again. The last time I went to the beach over 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw a flock of terns who rarely grace the busy San Diego beaches. There are stories of animal populations quadrupling in the places that I have gone to and loved since the humans have stepped out of the picture. In 2008, Tony and I took our boys to what would be my first trip to Yosemite. The first of 17 trips since then. Entering that valley with the tall granite walls held me close like no family home ever has. In the 11 years since I've been there, I started a practice of writing a simple haiku. That's a traditional Japanese poem that focuses on nature or a natural phenomenon, the simplicity in intensity and the directness of expression. Each time I go, I try to write a haiku to remind myself of the reasons why I love Yosemite and those walls that hold me so close. This morning, I read a quote from Charles Eisenstein that says, "What are your memories of the future?" And that's what I see a haiku as. I see it as something I might like in the moment, but definitely what I want to see in the future. So last week, I asked some families and I asked some people from other groups that I'm a part of here at the fellowship to think about the small, the tiny, the things that we usually are too busy and rushing around doing, and to try to write a haiku about. I'm going to read those to you because I love them, and I think they are exactly that, with the memories of the future that we all want to have. I want to thank Mindy Marlowe, Marianne Swift Gifford, Lana Leghart, Susan Black Allen, Laura Allenson, and Laura and her niece, Lillian, for all these precious words. Looking at the trees, From my window with my cat, we love the crisp breeze. Thank you, Guajomie. Green from rain, rabbits mating, baby bunnies soon. We can see for miles. The rain washed the air clean. Can we just stop here? Green things are growing. The humans are sheltering, and we are all waiting. Rain softens, hard ground. Weeding is now kind of fun. Wigglers are spotted. Your digging nourishes the pathways you create, bring air, you will save us, worms. Animals are fun and dogs are very cuddly. Cats are very cute. Dogs go in the rain. Dog comes inside and shivers. Human drives dog off. Dog leaps on the couch. Human wraps dog in blanket. Dog drifts off to sleep. And finally, when my eyes are closed, heart breaking open in love, I can hear your song.
For us to survive, both as individuals and as a species, we need a revolution in consciousness. It can start with our collective awakening. Looking deeply with mindfulness and concentration, we can see that we are the earth, and with this insight, love and understanding will be born. This is by Thich Nhat Hanh, and I want to share with you one of his love letters to the earth. This is a meditation, so I would like to invite you to get yourself in a comfortable position. You can have your eyes open or closed. If you want to have them open, I would suggest a soft focus. I will invite the bell at the beginning and the end of the reading. And in the meantime, I invite you to begin to follow your breath. As you breathe in, follow your in-breath all the way until it becomes your out-breath. Follow your out-breath all the way until it becomes your in-breath. In, out, in, out. Dear Mother Earth, I bow my head before you as I look deeply and recognize that you are present in me and that I'm a part of you. I was born from you, and you are always present, offering me everything I need for my nourishment and growth. My mother, my father, and all my ancestors are also your children. We breathe your fresh air. We drink your clear water. We eat your nourishing food. Your herbs heal us when we're sick. You are the mother of all beings. I call you by the human name Mother, and yet I know your mothering nature is more vast and ancient than humankind. We are just one young species of your many children. All the millions of other species who live or have lived on Earth are also your children. You aren't a person, but I know you are not less than a person either. You are a living, breathing being in the form of a planet. Each species has its own language, yet as our mother, you can understand us all. That is why you can hear me today as I open my heart to you and offer you my prayer. Dear Mother, wherever there is soil, water, rock, or air, you are there, nourishing me and giving me life. You are present in every cell of my body. My physical body is your physical body. And just as the sun and stars are present in you, they are also present in me. You are not outside of me, and I am not outside of you. You are more than just my environment. You are nothing less than myself. I promise to keep the awareness alive that you are always in me and I am always in you. I promise to be aware that your health and well-being is my own health and well-being. I know I need to keep this awareness alive in me for us both to be peaceful, happy, healthy, and strong. Sometimes I forget. Lost in the confusions and worries of daily life, I forget that my body is your body, and sometimes even forget that I have a body at all. Unaware of the presence of my body and the beautiful planet around me and within me, I'm unable to cherish and celebrate the precious gift of life you have given me. Dear Mother, my deep wish is to wake up to the miracle of life. I promise to train myself to be present for myself, my life, and for you in every moment. I know that my true presence is the best gift I can offer to you, the one I love. Now, begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, come back to your breathing. Open your eyes if they're closed, and become centered in your space.
Thank you so much, Brenda. That was beautiful and an excellent reminder. When we began the process of gathering the words, ideas, hopes, and desires from congregants about how we wanted to be together at Palomar Fellowship, we did that because we knew that pressing beyond our individuality and understanding that not only can we be more with others than we could ever be on our own, but we have a responsibility to own the interconnectedness that allows us to be more in community. Because of that interconnectedness, we can achieve great things. And because of that interconnectedness, we can destroy great things. Who do we want to be? Well, let me remind you of what we decided, and we will be using the vernacular version of the covenant when you join with me in just a few moments. So we decided that in mutual love and grace, that forgiveness that we give and receive when nobody deserves it, we journey together grounded in profound respect for diversity of beliefs and ideas, sustained by service and shared ministry, which is service, enriched through collective spiritual deepening and a safe environment for all generations to thrive. Together, we are more than we would ever be alone. Therefore, we promise to welcome and include everyone, to listen carefully and speak kindly, to help and share what we have with the community. Thus do we covenant with each other.
When I was a child each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Life from water is not so small. An even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, find it where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, I barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second grade hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face. Say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come. Say it's not a sacrament. I'll tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second grade hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy.
everything, everything is holy now, including Katya's beautiful voice and Thad Thacker's gorgeous playing and Michael Muffson's gorgeous images of you, so many of you, and our space and this world, this one precious world. The first time I heard that song, I was giving a reflection at a small satellite congregation we were trying to start up in Temecula. And one of the musicians from Chalice UU in Escondido played the song, just him and his guitar, like Katya and Thad. And when he got done, I was like, am I supposed to talk after that? And I feel like that today. And every time I hear Peter Mayer sing it, the Katya, your voice and the love that I know that you feel. There is a sense in what else is there to say. So many beautiful words have been said, the words of Thich Nhat Hanh reminding us of our innerness and that with all that is, and that everything is indeed holy now. Of this, there is no doubt. Look around. Look around. Look in the mirror. Everything is a miracle. And that anything is here at all. I invite you to breathe with me and recall the breath centering that you experienced with Brenda. This is a time to breathe and to be, not only during this time together of worship, but as we move through this time in our lives. The breath connects us all to everything that ever was. Breathing in oxygen molecules from the beginning of time, connecting us with this moment, and the exhale making us ancestors for those who will come. In this time of pandemic, we affirm our oneness with all that is, with Earth, with all beings, with each other. It has been said over and over, we are in this together. This shows our interconnectedness and our interdependence. I invite you to breathe in the holiness of this moment. Even this moment is holy with all that it contains. We pause in this moment to acknowledge all that is here in us, among us, between us, the joys and the sorrows, the loneliness, the lostness, the foundness, the friendship, the beauty, beloved ones, winged ones, crawling ones, those worms and dogs, and all that join us in this time. We acknowledge the earth body. All bodies are one. Everything is connected and everything is at stake, and bodies count. I invite you into a prayer by a beautiful poet and artist, Barbara Ford. Spirit, in these times of limitless grief, we have but two choices. Our hearts can break, or they can break wide open. The broken heart can fall, clutching and desperate into the chasm of loneliness. The heart broken open joins with the pain of a million other hearts and knows finally that it is never alone. May we choose the communion of broken hearts over isolation, even in a time of self-isolation. isolation and staying home. May we choose the communion of broken hearts over isolation. And with that choosing, may we act together in love toward the healing of the heart of the world. We are coming on the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Some of you weren't even born then. Some of you heralded the day with great hope. Now, 2 years before that, William Anders, the astronaut on Apollo 8, took a picture of the Earth rising over the moon. And here's what he said. "Oh my God, look at that picture over there. There's Earth coming up. Wow, that's pretty." Borman said, "Hey, don't take that. It's not scheduled," he said, joking. Anders laughed. "You got color film, Jim? Hand me over that roll of color, quick, would you?" Lovell. "Oh man, that's great. Oh man, that's great. Oh man, that's great." As they saw that Earth rise over the moon, having seen so many times the moon rise over the Earth, can you imagine that first time and that feeling, seeing the Earth rise over the moon? Wouldn't it send you over the moon? Pardon that pun. And isn't that the feeling that we get? Oh man, look at that. Awesome. So many of us thought that would be a turning point in 1968. Surely seeing the Earth from space would change everything. In 1970, Senator Gaylord Nelson, as a junior senator from Wisconsin, had been concerned about the environment and pollution at that time in the US, and he proposed a day to focus on the Earth. April 22nd was chosen because it was, between spring and spring break, so it worked. So many of us have celebrated Earth Day since that time, some of us coming late to it. As Unitarian Universalists, our seventh principle is that we affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. It's an affirmation of our deep, deep interconnectedness. It's been a while since we've been naming the importance of this Earth. And the corrective, I think, that's happening now is not only that we depend on Earth just for our food, but that or water or our nourishment, of course we do, but we are Earth, as Thich Nhat Hanh came to us in the words of Brenda. Yes. Yes. And some of us are still trying to remember what the first people of every continent have known. In the words of poet Susan Griffin, we are nature. We are nature seeing nature. We are nature with a concept of nature. The red-winged blackbird flies in us, she says. The red-winged blackbird flies in us. I was reminded of that when I looked up the quote, which I know simply as we are nature, seeing nature with our nature, we are nature with a concept of nature, we are nature weeping. And I'd forgotten that in her long, extensive poem, she says, the red-winged blackbird flies in us. Her words caught my imagination so many years ago. But before that, there was a maple tree out in front of 4516 North Monitor on the northwest side of Chicago. And my bedroom faced that tree. And I watched the tree go through its cycle year after year after year. I love naked trees. I think there's nothing more beautiful than seeing the bones of a tree, seeing its branches like art. Well, it is art, right? But that maple tree, I remember after the long, snowy winters, which were also beautiful, just watching those buds burst forth very early, maybe March. And there they would be, those buds, holding out the hope of spring and also reminding me of the renewal of earth. That tree lives in me. Not just the memory of it, but that tree lives in me. What lives in you? Those haikus that Kathleen read, those simple expressions of beauty, the tiny. As one is wont to do in the midst of a pandemic, I've started to go through my belongings, and I found some journals, some about 10 years old, and then I found it, a journal from 30 years ago. And as I was reading it, there I had documented my explosive awareness of oneness with all that is. I had read, which I've shared with you before, that the universe began with matter the size of a period at the end of a sentence, and that exploded my head. I remember where I was. I remember what it felt like. And I felt at once insignificant and big. And then there was another shift that I documented. This understanding, not only that I was part of the cosmos, but that I am part of Earth and Earth lives in me. Truth be told, it came as a result of a relationship. Many of our great insights, good or bad, come from relationships. But this was a relationship with my cat, Tex. A big orange tabby, and I am sure, and I was sure that loving him was the purest thing that I had ever done. And I was entering into his experience, and that entering into the experience of another being opened my heart. And the holiness of everything was made so clear. My experience of the rest of nature became shimmery and alive. I encountered the work of Alice Walker, and in her book, The Color Purple, her character, Shug, is talking to Celie about how she doesn't pray to God anymore. And Shug says to Celie, my first step from the old white man was trees, then air, then birds, then other people. And one day when I was sitting like a motherless child, which I was, it come to me, that feeling of being part of everything else, and I not separate at all. And I knew if I cut a tree, my arm would bleed. And I laughed and I cried and I run all over the house. I knew just what it was. In fact, when it happened, you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Sometimes it bursts on us as like a lightning bolt, as a quick apprehension of our oneness and our connectedness and our not separateness. And sometimes it dawns on us slowly through a variety of different experiences. Did it happen for you? What does it mean to love this earth and to be part of it? It means to love ourselves. It means to love each other. It means to love all beings. It means to care for this earth and for each other. Kathleen had mentioned how the earth is responding to people staying at home. Emissions are down. Rivers are running clear that hadn't. It's really not true, some of the wonderful, stories that we've heard, but lots of them are. The appearance of coyote, walking down the middle of Michigan Avenue in Chicago. There's so much there. Coyote was walking down Michigan Avenue. Trickster. Here I am. Give me the space. Here I am. I am here to turn the world upside down and to give you humans the memory of who and whose you are. Not separate at all. What could it mean for us as a species in these times? We have talked a couple of weeks ago about not returning to normal. Let's not return to normal if normal is the patterns of consumption and the degradation of the earth. Let's create in our imaginations what it is that we wish to see, and we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But I think what it looks like is taking time to hear the birds, taking time to feel a breeze, remembering that we're all connected and care for one another. I would like to share with you my ever-evolving love letter to Earth. Dear Earth, I woke up thinking about you today. How could I not? You are the source of my life. You inspire me. As I breathe in, I breathe you. You breathe me. Besides, one part of your chorus was singing me awake. And what about those outrageous roses you made? Right here, in my backyard. Seriously, they are just starting to bud, opening to their innerness, unfolding their color and fragrance. And the way the trees shimmer, not just after a rain, but with a vibrancy of life, subatomic becoming. And what about that drop of rain you poised at the end of that bright red bud of the bush shooting up taller than me? Your world reflected in that drop. And that dove, really. That dove, the one that was cooing and calling and luring from above. And those other doves courting and creating nests and caring for their babies. I thought about how excessively beautiful you are and how terrifying at times. You are complex, It's one of the things I love about you. You teach me everything I need to know about how to live. You give me everything I need. Everything about you fills me with love and longing. And I confess my broken heart belongs to you. I confess my broken open heart belongs to you. Here where I live, your gentle hills roll on and on and on. And even though many of them are covered with houses, I feel the curve of your body, and something in me stirs. And I relish the green on the hill, so lush after you showered us with that healing rain. And I do worry about you when it's dry and you're thirsty here. At those times, if I could, I would open my veins and pour love all over you, because my tears of love and joy and sorrow aren't enough. I feel you. I am in you and you are in me. When I feel my heartbeat, I feel the heartbeat of all hearts that beat. I really don't know where you end and I begin. I'm sorry for all the ways that I fail you as a lover. Forgive me. Know that in my imperfect way, I live only to honor, celebrate, protect, and defend you. I love you. Yours, always, Beth.
So, as I talked about earlier, in coming together while staying away, we are still able to be more than we could ever be alone. In pooling even more of our resources, in pooling our finances, we can allow this fellowship to continue the work that it does. Lisa Wellens, our magical office administrator, is still picking up mail and processing checks. You can set up payments through Breeze from the comfort of your own home. That's our database. And you can text to give. Instructions on your screen. And Emily is in the chat with instructions. If you have any questions, you can chat right back. And the finances we bring together serve more than just our immediate community. Each quarter, the board selects a nonprofit organization that we share our undesignated plate with. In other words, the money that you give that you haven't specifically designated as pledge, for instance, will be split with our plate share. This quarter's plate share is Unitarian Universalist Refugee and Immigrant Services and Education, URISE. And because of the new way of the world, they have been taking on many cases from sister organizations that could not quite make the virtual transition. And that has dramatically increased their workload. Add to that fact, the fact that their current list of folks need even more help navigating unemployment and other kinds of assistance that have come about because of the COVID-19 impacts on our planet. So please, be as generous as your situation allows, as this morning's offertory is gratefully received.
Thank you for so much for the various ways that you give to our community, even by your presence here today. And I want to remind you that if you are joining us from outside of our congregation and would like to be informed of the things that are happening, as I said, you can look at our public Facebook page, but also just go to our website, vistauu.org, and sign up to get newsletters and emails and find ways to connect with us. As we stay away, we are committed to staying connected. I would like to invite you to join me in our chalice extinguishing words. Although we extinguish this flame, we carry in our hearts the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment until we are together again. I love you.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the road beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, and the great wind urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms. Never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
Thank you to Katya and to Thad for your music today and the reminder that this is our beautiful blue boat home. And isn't that just what those astronauts must have thought and what we get to remember as we go forth? Remember to go in peace, be makers of peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And remember, don't go too far, because we are going to join together in a virtual social hour, coffee hour, virtual patio time. Michael is going to show us where we're going in just a minute, but I'm going to tell you, you are on, as you heard Katya say at the beginning, you're on a Zoom webinar, and you can only see the panelists. You can't see each other, but you want to see each other, right? You want to visit and chat with one another, right? Some of you do. And so we're going to make that happen by going into a Zoom meeting. And so what we're going to do, what you're going to do is in a minute, don't do it now. Don't do it now. Wait until I say, okay? Got it? All right. You're going to log out of this Zoom webinar. You're just going to log out. And then you're going to log into what's called a Zoom meeting. And a Zoom meeting is what many of you are used to during the week, you know, where we get to see everybody's little frames and we're like on the Brady Bunch and we get to see each other. So we're going to do that. And that link is in the chat. I'm going to look for it. Yep, the link is in the chat. It was in the email I sent out to you last Friday. Got an email Friday, Saturday, and this morning. So, but what you can do now is you can take that link and that information and just copy it out right now. And there it is. I see it. Okay, look at me. You got it.